sorry. That was annoying. We should restart that. No. Yeah, let's do that. Let's restart that.
I'm not gonna.
Alright. Yeah.
We have to do it now. I'm sorry.
Now they have to wait like a whole 3 seconds.
Yeah, now they have to wait. We're officially probably scraping 30 seconds before the title has been said, so.
Alright. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a podcast Orange. I am your host, Jack Siegel. Joining me, as always, is, big-armed, big hairy-armed Tom.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a podcast Orange. It's good to be here with my hairy arms and Jack's hairy nutsack.
My hairy... I have a hairy ass.
Always a pleasure. You have a hairy ass, but not hairy nuts.
I do have hairy nuts. I have hairy everything. I am a Russian. Why?
Are you?
Yeah. Why don't you calm down? Why are you in such a rush, right?
Oh, coming in hot tonight.
Oh,
click.
Ching.
You heard
With the
that
red
click?
Wine.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking tonight, Tom?
Pretty sure it's red wine.
I know, but what kind? Why don't you
The
do
red
a little,
kind.
Why don't you can get like fucking product placement here.
Yeah, right. Or we can get fucking sued.
Let's get sponsored.
We just get sued by like Yellowtail or some shit. No, but yeah.
We did not have permission.
We're drinking, guys. We're here. It's good to be back. Tom and Jack.
Things are good.
In the back.
Things look like everything's opening up. Things are getting back to normal.
New York's opening
I am fully vaccinated.
Yay! I'm half vaccinated.
You know, I now have polio.
Yeah.
So
you and Dana will be having a podcast soon.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Polio podcast.
All right, Dana, we'll be hitting you up about the
PP.
polio pod.
You know?
The PP.
Are you going on the PP?
It's like, yo, did you hear the PP today? Oh, man, they were talking some shit.
We're going to listen to them. Yeah, no, I got vaccinated, and I'm good. I'm happy I did, and I got it before you did. So
I mean, I'm halfway.
Fuck
I'm
you.
right
I'm not even
behind
talking to you. I'm just talking to everybody.
Oh,
but I'm now.
Yeah, fuck all you bitches. You didn't get the vaccine yet.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of fucked up. Isn't it fucked up that you have to like literally beg for this shit?
Yeah.
Like everybody else I'm talking to, like see, I didn't realize how like
the government's making us our bitch.
Yeah, no, well, not just that.
Their
I mean,
bitch.
I mean, I realized that, but I didn't realize how easily I had gotten the vaccine until after I had already had my first, because I'm waiting on my second shot still. But when I first got my date, because I'm an essential worker, my mom's like, yeah, they gave you like March 30th or some shit. I'm like, oh, that's stupid. I should be going sooner. Like, I work with customers. But whatever. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of people. And then about 2 weeks after that, my mom's like, hey, you want to check your like appointment just to make sure? And then I was like, yeah, and it was like Sunday. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, let's do this, yeah. And, you know, I got the vaccine, and then I started telling people, and people were like, what? I'm like, yeah, what? I got the first half. They're like, what do you mean? How did you get it? How did you get that shit? It was like I had meth. It was like, no.
They don't like you when you tell them that. I realize. That's why I don't
It
tell
depends
them.
on who you talk to.
I decided not to tell anybody because I just don't want that weird
Except for your whole listening audience.
Yeah, except for them. But like when I was in I was thinking like, hey, maybe I should talk about the vaccine or whatever. I was like, nah, fuck that. Don't bring that up. It's a sure. You know what sucks about like being like in college or being in like is that you have to like you can't just talk about like fucking people with dildos all the time. In class.
Yeah, you can't just
like
necessarily whip out the dildo talk
when
you're listening to a TA try to describe the meaning of Pride and Prejudice to you.
I actually fell asleep on a Zoom class.
I don't blame you. I would too.
I was like, fuck, because I don't know.
It's got to be so boring. It's like how do you do that?
You know what's weird? Some people like turn their cameras off. I'm like, that's kind of rude. Like,
it's kind of like, yeah, it's almost like, what, you're too good to
everyone else
to show us your like, what are you, Muhammad the Prophet? Like, you can't be depicted.
What I think is that some people are like in their beds and they don't want people to see them like with they're like in their
some
underwear fucking jerking off.
Well, yeah,
they could be doing that. We
exactly.
Don't know.
Like some people have to masturbate and then they can't necessarily find the time. And that's why Zoom lets you turn off the audio and the camera.
I should bring that up next time we have class.
I should be like, by the way, guys.
Michael is jerking off. You should if you're not jerking off, turn your fucking camera on, you coward.
You should be more subtle about it. Be like, hey guys, have you guys noticed that Michael never has his camera on? What do you think he's doing there?
Dude, that would be the fucking worst. That would be hilarious. Yeah,
that'd
just just be an absolute asshole.
Yeah, literally you could just be like, just bring it up, be like, so guys, like, it's funny how, like, Michael's camera and audio are always off.
It's interesting how we actually participate, and, you know...
Michael's busy doing whatever it is he's doing in his Zoom window there.
Just be a kiss-ass. Were you ever a kiss-ass with a teacher? Like a teacher said?
It depends on the teacher. If they're hot, yes, absolutely. Yeah. But also, if I'm, like... Honestly, if I just, like, if I'm not doing well in the class, I'll try to be like, hey, yo, what's up?
What's up, man? Hey, Yankees.
How you doing? Yeah, right.
You know, like, just whatever.
It's like, hey, how's that weather?
You know, yeah. I get that.
It's like, oh, you like Floyd too? Huge Pink Floyd
I was doing the same shit with my professor, like, because I realized, like, I was late on a couple of assignments, and I was like, hey, how you doing, pal? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, why you don't talk like that.
And it's also, it's so sad because you do that, and deep down you know it doesn't even affect them.
They're probably like what a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, they're looking at him like, wow, does this guy really think that he's not failing because of this? Like this dude just...
I mean, hey, I did get a 95 on the midterm, so yay me.
Good for you.
I'm great.
Good for you.
I'm just...
You don't need
nobody
the next
gives
stimulus
Nobody
check
gives
now.
a shit. Like, they're listening like, who cares?
Yeah, people are like, wow.
Mope.
Be like, wow, you're in grad school.
Who gives a fuck? Nobody gives a shit. Why don't you kill yourself?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, the vaccine is like, I just think it's crazy though, like people literally have to beg, you know what I mean? People are just like, I've literally called like 10 times, I cannot get an appointment. It's like, isn't this shit life-saving? Like, shouldn't this shit just be in like CVS? Like,
yeah.
I guess
are they having...
I guess they just not have a lot
Why
yet?
are they having student nurses give it out? That's what
really.
That's what I thought was weird. I went there, and like all the girls, they were clearly like just, you know, in nursing school or whatever. And I'm like, if this is like this whole new advanced vaccination that's like really important to stop this pandemic, why are we having it given out by like medical students?
Yeah, right.
The fuck is this shit?
The dude who gave me my vaccine, I'm pretty sure he had like a cloth mask on. I was like,
what?
Isn't that not good enough? Like,
yeah. Shouldn't you know this shit? Did you go to Suffolk?
Yeah, right. You went to Suffolk, like, in biology.
No, didn't you go to Suffolk for the vaccine?
No, I actually went to Jones Beach. And I waited for fucking 2 hours, man.
Really?
Sucked. Yeah, I literally brought, like, snacks and shit. I wound up pissing in a water bottle in the car. Like, it was a long time, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was literally, like, I think because a lot of people had gotten deferred because of the snowstorm. So it was really, really, like, crowded. And, you know, everybody was, like... Literally, like, I didn't even know where to go until I saw a massive line of cars. And I was like, that's probably it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not sure if that's the exit, but I'd probably be willing to bet money that giant line of cars.
2 hours, else. Like, sucks.
Yeah, it sucked ass. But I'm glad I'm halfway there. Now I have another fucking 2 hours to wait. And then I'll be legally allowed to travel and buy hookers. It'll be nice.
And we'll get back to normal.
Normal.
That's what normal means.
Back to normalcy. You know, it's hookers and traveling and doing drugs with friends again.
Trafficking, blow. Don't traffic women.
Do not.
We do not endorse trafficking of human beings.
Please do not traffic women. That's Jack's job.
Stealing all my customers.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. I'm trying to run a business here.
I was in, when I had it done at Suffolk, and it was during a blizzard. I went with my parents also had it, because my parents are senior citizens officially. Well, my dad is anyway, which is weird to think of him, because I'm like, you're a fucking
like, I've met your parents and they're super sweet, but it's funny when you call them senior citizens.
Because they're not.
Because you just get this image. When you say senior citizen, you think of like... Yeah, you think of a dude in like a walker's like...
Yeah. Nobody still has like a job and he goes to fucking, you know...
Excuse me, sonny boy.
Yeah.
Could you tell me what that says there? It's like, it's a stop sign, Grandpa. Why are you driving?
Yeah, no, you think we have like a stigma against seniors.
Well,
Stigma.
I mean,
oh god, that's such a I'm sorry I said that word.
Well, no, I mean, you're
that's
right,
a Bugs word.
I think...
What are we on, fucking
right,
Vice
like...
podcast? Man?
Yeah, like, anyway, back to a podcast Orange on Vox. No, but I think you're right, like, one of the few prejudices that doesn't get a lot of attention in the media is, like, ageism and just general prejudice against older people.
Dude, look
just
at the way
because
people
they're
talked
old.
about, like, Biden and Sanders.
I mean, I'll admit that I definitely took part in that.
Me too.
But it's not
there's-
just because he's old. It's also because I just didn't like Biden.
But
that
like a
much,
lot of the
whatever.
comments about like they're like, oh, he's so like, you know, a lot of people make assumptions about you because you're old that you're like, you know.
Yeah, people forget that there's people who are like 90 who are still just like walking around driving.
Clint Eastwood's like 90 years old and he's making movies.
I mean, Clint Eastwood doesn't look great, but he's still all there. Like, the fact is, if you're all there
He's
mentally...
talking to chairs.
Yeah, right. He's saying racial slurs to his actors. But but the fact is,
remember that speech?
Which one?
That during the 2012 RNC when he like did a whole skit where he was pretending a chair was Barack Obama.
Oh my God,
And
no!
He was having like.
Oh, I heard about it, but I didn't watch it.
It was one of the greatest things ever. And because they bring him out there, and people are like, fuck yeah, Clint Eastwood speaking, and they even do the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Listen here, Obama, you
like, whoa!
So, yeah, that's Clint for you.
You know, hey,
there he is. Hey, that's the good from the good, the bad, and the ugly, am I right?
There's the bad.
Yeah, the bad's coming out, maybe a little bit of the ugly.
But, like, you know, so they brought him out, and they even did the good, the bad, and the ugly theme when they brought him out, and people were like, fuck yeah, Clint Eastwood! And he goes out, he's like, fuck Obama. He's a piece of shit, motherfucker. I mean, he doesn't literally say that, but essentially that's what he's saying.
I think it'd be really funny if he did, though. He just grabs the mic, like, ladies and gentlemen, legendary actor.
It doesn't even sound like him at all.
Clint Eastwood. It's just like, he's just like, fucking Obama, you fucking piece of shit.
You feel, and he tries to, like, quote his old, do you feel lucky, but he's, like, really old. And
yeah, he's like, you feeling lucky? And he's, like, foaming at the mouth. He's like,
can somebody bring Clint cloth?
It's like, guys, I'm pretty sure he's not even facing the audience. It's like, he's, like, facing the wrong way.
But he talked to a chair, though, and it was amazing. I've never seen anyone do that before. And he, like, pretended... He was, like, giving sass talk back to the chair at one point. He's like, yeah, you shut up. Don't, you know. And,
he's just like, I just want you guys to know, if I was talking to Obama, I would tell him to shut up.
Shut up. I would tell him just shut up to his face. Shut up, bitch.
That's hilarious.
It's funny just to think of that happening, though.
Oh,
hello.
Hold on. Let me...
Shut up,
Can we
bitch.
pull this up for just a minute? Like, let me see if I can find this.
I honestly think that's the reason why Obama won, why Romney lost.
Yeah, because
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood talked to a chair.
People are like, alright, we can't fucking, you know. Really, this is the best you could do.
Alright, talking chair.
Talking to a chair.
Clint Eastwood explain. Oh, there's one video where he explains the RNC speech.
Yeah.
Alright, this is, I mean, it's 11 minutes, so let's just watch like a couple minutes of it.
Alright, let's see this.
First of all, a word from this advertisement, and...
About to speak.
Yeah, people are like, fuck yeah.
So let's just get to where he's talking to the chair.
That night when he was having that thing, and they were talking about hope and change, and they were talking about...
Okay, he's talking to the chair.
I thought it was just because somebody had this stupid idea of trying terrorists in downtown New York City. Maybe that was it.
He doesn't like the fact that they're trying people from Guantanamo Bay in New York City.
I like how everyone applauds like that's a burn. It's
yeah.
like,
oh! Those people.
I've got to give credit where credit's due. You did overrule that finally. And that's so. Now we're moving onward.
Yeah, we should spend more taxes to people.
I know you were against the war in Iraq, and that's okay. But you thought the war in Afghanistan was okay. You know, I mean, you thought that was something.
Is that true? Is that the case?
I like how he kind of backtracks. Like he's realizing, you know, like these this chair is actually putting up a good argument.
It's like, wait a minute, this chair has kind of some points. It's like, yo, you didn't tell me this chair was bringing a bibliography. What the fuck? It's so funny. He's like, the way he said that, he's like, well, you thought the war in Iraq was, you were against the war in Iraq, and that's okay. But now you think the war in Afghanistan is okay. It's like,
burn!
Like
oh shit, Clint just told them.
It's like, wow, way to expose hypocrisy from one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I just think it's like funny, like to think that Obama ever sat there and said, he's like, listen, the war in Iraq, I think that's not okay. But the war in Afghanistan, I'm pretty sure that's okay. It's fine.
I don't like it. An Afghan terrier attacked my dog, so...
Yeah, an Afghan terrier attacked my dog, and we bought the dog just so that I could become president with it, so...
It's not even... I don't even love this thing.
Yeah, I truly have no attachment to the animal.
It's just a fucking...
Everything Obama's like an asshole dad.
He just beats his kids.
Not even like he beats his kids, like he's just like kind of mean, like... He's like, Daddy, you want to see my pictures? Like, I'm busy, Malik. Whatever his kid's
all
name
are
is.
assholes. You ever watch that show, The West Wing? Like, it shows basically most presidents just, they can't really be a dad.
Well, I mean, if you're a president, it's like, I think to even get that far in politics, you have to be some kind of an asshole. Like, you have to be, even if you're, even the best politician.
You have to be willing to, like fucking put somebody into the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be willing to not,
destroy somebody.
Brown nose, step on people, and just cut corners. Like,
you have to be ruthless.
Even Bernie Sanders, like, as much as I'll say Bernie's more noble than most politicians, like, even the hardest of Bernie stands, you got to admit, like, the only reason he got as far as he is he's a politician like any other. He says things to get ahead. He doesn't necessarily mean everything he says to the public. Like, that's the game.
You have to... Yeah, you have to, like, sell yourself a little bit. You have to be willing to destroy somebody. However, speaking of ruthless sociopaths, let's talk about Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit!
Oh, baby. Honestly, like, this is kind of...
like the fucking arrow.
This is... Yeah,
we should put in the... We'll do that in the editing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe I should...
Watch Tom just doesn't do that just because I say that.
Shit. Anyhow, but yeah, no, Cuomo, gotta love him. I think it's funny just to imagine, like, because, Trump supporters obviously were in bad shape after it finally came to be that, no, Trump is not president, and he's never going to be president again, and you guys lost.
But what about 2024?
Good point. He didn't get impeached because some people, but anyway. But the thing is, it's like...
I think Trump's going to be president forever.
What I'm saying is, like, Trump supporters had a rough go of it, and their salvation is now that everybody hates Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
That's, like, the only real salvation. If you're a Trump supporter, you can at least take salvation in the fact that you guys were the first ones to hate Cuomo, and now we all hate Cuomo. So there you go. You got that one.
Cuomo, here's the thing about it, dude, and this is what I was realizing. Like you were saying about politicians, you have to be kind of ruthless. The thing about New York politicians is that we live in a state filled with absolute dirtbags.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to politicians, especially at the local level, the local politicians are literally the biggest fucking scumbags. There's every year.
Oh yeah.
There is some sort of legislator or assembly member that gets arrested for this or that or tax whatever, and dude, there's so many scandals. And so Cuomo. His father was an asshole, Mario Cuomo. He was notoriously known as a big asshole. He was a well-liked governor, but people were like, he's still a fucking douchebag.
I mean, yeah, he was a well-liked, but he was a New York governor.
Yeah.
So he was just like, hey,
motherfucker, I'm Mario.
Hey, I'm Mario Cuomo. This is New York over here.
Well, you know who his lieutenant governor was?
Who?
Luigi Cuomo.
But
fucking... So I'm not surprised that his son is a douchebag. He had a reputation for that long ago, though. It's not shocking news that Andrew Cuomo is a douchebag.
I mean, the more shocking thing isn't the douchey thing; it's more the
sexual harassment.
The sexual harassment.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, the first real hit he started taking was the nursing home shit, because he was just taking a bunch of lawsuits from the fact that he grossly mishandled that whole situation in the beginning of COVID, which you could argue whether or not that's 100% his fault, but like still like if you have a bunch of people getting,
he definitely had a huge part in that.
It was definitely mostly his fault.
Yeah,
like,
it was entirely his fault.
I personally would blame him for it 100%.
Yeah, it comes from the top.
Yeah, no, the fact is like when you know that old people are getting COVID, the last thing you should do is put them all together. Like, I don't know whose thought that was. I guess it was just a lapse of reason, but still, it's his fault. But even that, like, now with the fucking, like, sexual harassment shit, it's like, this guy's done.
Maybe
like,
it's a good thing, because maybe then we'd have less old people in the world.
Yeah, population control, maybe. Yeah.
Just
on
kidding!
On a podcast eugenics today.
Just kidding. Anyway, wait. So yeah, the sexual harassment.
Well, that's the thing is like even the nursing home shit is something that's horrible, but it's the type of thing that like a politician could weasel their way out of.
Oh yeah, you expect a New York politician to have like shit like that.
But now it's like you think about the fucking the assault shit. It's like, dude, like this guy's done. Like he'll never hold public office again, probably.
Well, yeah, he's not gonna resign. People are like, he should resign. He's not gonna resign.
Yeah, I don't think he would resign, but
because
I mean,
you know what's bullshit though? There is like a double standard going on. I mean, like, and not why is it though that like the Democratic politician always has to resign when they're accused of sexual harassment? But when the Republican politician is accused, they just don't resign.
Well, because the difference is the Republican politician just doesn't admit that they did it. Or even if they admit it, they just don't admit that it was bad enough for them to have to resign. Like, they'll just be like, yeah, I'm sorry. It was rude of me to do that.
Well, that's what Cuomo's already doing, though. He already put out some sort of, like, half-assed apology.
Well, I mean, the difference with Cuomo is, like, you're the governor of New York. You're a governor of a state where people tend not to put up with that shit. And, like, if it was like he was the governor of some other state, like, if he was the governor of, like, Wyoming, like, it probably wouldn't even fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like,
they'd be angry because it wasn't with his sister.
Right? They'd be like, what the fuck? What are you trying to spread the gene pool? Jesus, man.
You gotta think about Tammy Lynn, man.
Man, God didn't give you a perfectly good sister for nothing.
All these cows gotta make some calves.
Man, last time I heard of a feller who don't want to fuck his sister, I was pretty sure he was a fag.
And we put him on our car and dragged his face.
Yeah, and then they tied all of his limbs to different pickup trucks and drove in separate directions.
Well, that was that's the state that had that kid. Wyoming, you know about that kid Matthew, whatever the fuck his name was, in like the late 90s. He was a gay kid, and so like the people in Wyoming.
Oh wait, is this the kid who got like burned on the fence?
No, what they did was they tied him to a car. They put like a rope around him, and they basically dragged him.
Jesus Christ!
Until like they ripped his fucking face off.
Jesus fucking Christ!
It was like a huge case.
I mean, yeah,
and people were like put in like this whole new. Like that was when like hate crime laws changed as a result of that case.
Well, I mean, wasn't there also the one where like these kids tied a gay guy to a fence and just like burned him alive?
Really?
Yeah. It's like
like Ziggy's open mic.
Yeah, right. It's funny because like wait. Which gay guy being senselessly murdered do you mean? Are you talking about that one? Or it's like, Jesus, what kind of fucking country do we live in?
No,
like,
exactly.
It's like, which, there's a lot of murdered gay guys. You gotta narrow it down for me.
Yeah, no, it's
fucked up.
I never even heard
sad.
That one.
Like, I mean, hearing those types of stories makes me fucking furious, but like, yeah.
Well, it's bullshit. I hate it, like, and we do this even when we're to, like, kids, is we have to, like, teach them in school that America is the greatest country in the world. It's like, I don't think we are. If we've done shit like that, we had like slavery up until 150 years ago. Most other countries were done with slavery. We were looked down upon by all other modern countries in Europe and like Asia, and because like other countries didn't have slavery. And then even after that, we had segregation.
Yeah, we were just like, well, so what? I mean, we have a lot of fucking cotton here. Like,
and
what do you guys expect?
So, like, I don't get why we, like, do this whole America's the greatest, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we do it
they all start with 9/11.
Because it's like, think of it like an animal, like trying to, we just do it because that's what's made us, like, successful in like a monetary sense. Like, like we've been able to like rocket fire our way to the top because we've just been marching through the planet like we own it for the past hundreds of years. Like that's the thing, when you have the attitude that you are the greatest and you can do anything you want and you have like the means, like it makes it almost easier even if you're really not the greatest. Like so like that's the reason like Americans are so spoiled, like because it gave us, like, us calling ourselves the greatest allowed all of our civilians, the whole society of America, to turn a blind eye to the fact that our country was literally fucking the rest of the planet in the ass. Because we're all busy thinking, we're too busy thinking we're the greatest to think about the fact that we're literally, like, toppling democratic dictators in Latin America and toppling democratic leaders to install our dictators for them, like.
Well, I mean, like the educational part of like reinforcing that, I feel like got much. It changed a lot after 9/11, and then like a lot more like patriotic elements were put into
for sure, because
to the academic curriculum about like America's greatness and blah 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 blah. And
not even just the greatness. Like I was taught that like Martin Luther King just ended racism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember learning that like. It was just thanks to Martin Luther King, nobody's racist anymore. And I was literally like 10. I was like, that's great. I can see why we have a holiday for him.
in January.
Yeah, right.
Fucking worst.
Coldest, most bitter month of the year.
Yeah, shittiest time of the year.
And then Black History Month comes right after the other coldest, most bitter month of the year. It's just like, yeah, I mean, the thing about America is like we're we're just a country that's, like, I don't even know if you want to call it, like, the most fun, because it's, like, even the fun that we have is not always that fun, really, like.
I mean, we have, like,
I would say, like, we're all really just the most, like, indulgent country. Like, we're number one in indulgence. Like, we're number one in, like, people.
We have a huge presence all over the world, though. We have a huge influence of our culture. Like, you go to, I mean, for instance, it's not even our culture, really, but, like, you go anywhere, and you're gonna find, like, a McDonald's, or, like, a fucking...
Well, yeah, and I think the thing with that is, like... That's a lot of that is just because, you know, these corporations have gotten so powerful that they can transcend the nations.
Well, yeah, America's become a corporation. Yeah. That's the problem.
America's a giant business. And, like, that's why, like, Trump supporters thought that Trump would be great. They forgot that he's a fucking horrible businessman. It's like, we need a good businessman. It's like, then why are you voting for Trump, retard?
We don't need a good businessman. Like,
yeah.
Being a good running a business really has nothing to do with, like, running, like, a state or, like, it's not the same.
No, it's totally different.
It's so stupid how, like, people were like, I want somebody who's, like, a political outsider. Like, you don't want somebody who's been... you know, working in the same job for like 50 years.
So you're saying you want someone with no experience.
Yeah.
You want somebody with like...
You want somebody to run the country that's never had any experience.
Like, I get like not trusting the deep state, but you also have to be like realistic. Like, you'd rather like there are legitimate career politicians out there. But regardless, getting back to Cuomo here.
Yeah, let's all circle back.
I just think it's like...
my boy Andrew.
It's fucked up to me because I'm like... Like, in the beginning of the pandemic, he was like he was actually being seen as a hero. Like, I never really I was never that crazy about him personally.
You were a Cuomo sexual.
I was never.
Remember that?
Oh,
remember the Cuomo sexuals?
I was not, but I had some Cuomo sexuals come to my job because remember, I'd been working the whole time, so customers would come into the store just like terrified, like hi, like, and it's just like come on over, like it's you know, like, let's make this quick. And, like, you know, you talk to people and, like, try to, like, make sense of it. And people would be like, at least Cuomo's doing a good job. Like, thank God. Like, he's doing such a good job.
Thank God
for Governor Cuomo. And it's literally just like, I was just like, yeah.
Sure.
And then, like,
whatever.
3 months later, it was like, wow, like, we lost 80% of our old people. That's weird.
all the people that were saying good job.
Yeah, all the people who were congratulating him.
I can just imagine them like fading away, like at the end of Avengers: Infinity War.
It's like good job, Cuomo.
They just like disappear into the fucking
turn into dust and blow away in the wind. That's exactly what happened.
But I mean, yeah, no. When people were saying, I know some people are like, oh my god, he's so handsome. I'm like, shut the fuck.
It's like, dude, yeah, it was literally getting to where it was like, relax,
Yeah.
man. Like,
I
if
get
anything,
it. You're proud to
like,
have Governor Cuomo.
Like at the very most, he's just doing his fucking job. You know what I mean? Like any governor would have to do this shit. Like, and I also hated. Like, there's nothing I hated more than those. Like the fucking moments on CNN when Chris Cuomo got the virus, and like, he was literally like, Cuomo's like, I'm gonna FaceTime Chris in on the news, and we're just gonna comfort the American people.
Yeah,
and
it's like fuck you.
It's like you guys could fucking suck my giant dick in your ass. Like, I would stick my dick into Cuomo's
that
ass
was really
just so
fucked
he can
up.
suck his
I
own
mean, like,
shit.
they have a new rule now that they can't interview each other.
I know, thank God, because it was cringe.
Like, the fact that they were able to do that in the first place is kind of weird. I mean,
I mean, honestly, like, to be fair, like, it didn't even really... I'd always sort of known they were brothers, but it didn't really click for me until it happened. Like, until you started seeing it on the news.
Well, also, they would, like, talk... The way they talked to each other was, like, they would have this retarded... Like, obviously put on banter that they would do, like, hey, well, you know what? Ellen likes me. They don't like you. You know, they said that at one point.
Or, like, some shit where it's like... Yeah, like they... Like,
hey, nice of you to dress up there.
I remember Chris made, like, this weird joke where he'd be like... He was like, Andrew, I had a dream last night where you showed up with, like, a magic wand and, like, a little fairy outfit and a tutu, and you said, I wish I could make this all go away. And I'm just like, no, you didn't, you fucking idiot. I don't even know why you... Yeah. And, like, he said it on Zoom, and, like, even Andrew Cuomo, he was like, I don't really know why you would... dream that. And it's just like, what was that? Is that like supposed to be like funny? Like you were supposed to like that was so obviously made up, like, and weird, and just didn't
there's some idiot out there that's like, oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah, be like, oh, they're such brothers. That's the way I was with my brother.
They're so adorable.
Me and my brother would be the same way if we were on the news. Oh my god, he would be messing with me. Oh my god.
They would post it on Facebook with like minions and shit.
It's just so shot, and like, it's just really like, it looks like blatant corruption. Like when you look at it, it's like, oh, here's a giant like figure in the media and like an insanely influential political figure, like just literally buoying
kind
up,
of like telling you how you should feel.
Yeah, just literally.
They're literally telling you like how you should feel.
Yeah,
well, that's
and it's also like people will be like, man, it's not bought by the Democrats, and it's like. Well, come on, dude. Like,
well, it's interesting. I watched last time I watched CNN was when they were, the day of the insurrection, and like, it was late at night, like, because the
insurrection. Oh, you mean the circus, right?
The circus.
Yeah, the day of the circus. Go on.
Well, you have a problem with it called insurrection or something?
No, I just see it as the circus. It was like the circus to me, but go on.
I mean, I don't think it's fair to like.
I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm trying to make fun of them.
I know, but it's like I feel like those people
are scary.
They're gonna come back and we're gonna kill them.
No, we're gonna fucking kill them and their families. No,
we should get to war.
I don't know. I'm not that scared. I think that was
I'm
it.
Not scared.
I honestly think. Depending
Trump
on who.
Supporters.
The Trump supporters are gonna come. It's like, Mommy, the Trump supporters are in my closet. It's like,
that's
it's like, all right, let me check the closet. No Trump supporters here, honey. It's like, I swear to God, I saw a mug hat.
And when they leave the room, you just see like the glow of the red hat in the dark.
Yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, just like Kanye steps out of the shadow. He's like, "Listen, man."
I wonder if they probably did a parody of that on some show of like It, where it's like when they go down to like the sewer and in the beginning of the movie and when the kid walks down, he loses his boat and it goes in the fucking.
Oh yeah, and instead of the clown, it's just a dude wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah, and he's like,
"Hey kid, do you want to make America great again?"
You gotta read Breitbart, or no, you have to read like Newsmax. And
instead of like cotton candy and rides, he's like, I've got Breitbart and Jordan Peterson down here, and traditional values too.
And it's like you should do that. And it's like instead of like a kid, it's like some weird college kid.
It's like some 20-year-old is
in a suit for some reason.
And he's just like, well, do your views hold up? It's like, oh yes, they hold up, Georgie. They hold up.
But it's like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, right. He's like, actually, yes, they do. Can you imagine?
First off, that's a ridiculous question.
First of all, that's a ridiculous question. Of course my views hold up. I would never express any views in public if they did not hold up. Second of all...
He's like, okay.
It's like, all right, relax. Second of all, my wife has never had a wet-ass pussy, so clearly there's never been a wet-ass pussy.
He's like, wait, you have a wife? Why are you doing the sewer? He's like, well, actually, what does that have to do with me being in a sewer? Just because I have a wife...
It's like, actually, me being in the sewer has nothing to do with me being a wife. In fact, for all you know, my wife could have asked me to be in the sewer.
That's why you're using a straw man's argument, so I don't really actually appreciate the way you're trying to talk. And then the kid just walks away. He's like,
I love when people say that. Like, you'll make a point, people will be like, that's a straw man. It's like, dude, fuck you. Like, know that just means I made a decent point. Like,
unless you do make a straw man.
Unless you make a real straw man, but it's like, I don't know. Usually when people say that, they just want it to be a straw man, but really it's just
most people don't know what a straw man is.
Yeah, most people don't really. It's kind of like when people say that.
Irony.
People be like, that's a fallacy. And it's like, what fallacy?
You're just
like,
throwing out bullshit.
Well, it's a fallacy. It's like, yeah, like, which one?
Yeah, it's...
Dipshit, like...
Some people will just like to throw out shit just to be like, some people will say like, well, according to this book I read, and then you're like, I don't think you read that.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's like, I
think you just feel
like, I was reading this article the other day. It's like, did you read it or did you see an article the other day? People will say they read things when really they saw something.
They just scrolled by it. They're like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, people will be like, oh, wow, Trump did this. Or like, oh, wow, I guess we are still killing kids in cages, all right? Like, and it's like they don't, like, read it. And then it's like, people will be like, well, I read we're killing kids in cages. It's like, well, I mean, maybe, but what did it say? You gotta read the article. It's like, well, it just said the title said that.
Yeah. Like, so wait, do you think Cuomo's going to resign? I don't think so.
I don't think he's going to resign. I don't know whether... I personally think he should, only because, not only, like, just because of the assault allegations. Like, yes, because of that. But honestly, even the nursing home thing, I mean, just the mishandling of it and, like, the amount of, like, people who are just never going to get, like, reconciliation for it, like...
Yeah. Well, you're not gonna...
I just know myself, like... I'm self-conscious. I would totally feel shitty enough to resign. But he may not resign.
Well, he's shameless. I mean, here's the thing. It's not like whether he resigns or not, it's going to hurt the Democratic Party. It's New York. There's going to be there's a Democratic lieutenant governor. Whoever wins the next election is going to be a Democrat. It doesn't really matter if you...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the thing. Is like, we don't really have to worry about that. It's more just like, well, like... If Cuomo resign, if we're gonna make Cuomo resign because he has allegations, like, then it's like, think about all the allegations Trump has, and we didn't like make him resign.
Or Ted Cruz.
Think about it, yeah. Like,
I know that we're like talking about stories that are 2 weeks old now at this point, but the fucking Cancun cruise.
I mean, yeah. Didn't we mention that last time?
Did we? I don't think so.
I mean, if we didn't, yeah. I mean, Ted Cruz, you gotta understand, man. Like, he can't be in Texas all the time. He's got Zodiac killing to do. He's got to keep the body count up.
Well, it's funny. He made like a joke about the he's trying to do like damage control, so he like made a joke about it at CPAC of like to try to
try to cover his tracks. He's like
try to make it blow over. Like whatever, and like it just kind of bombed. He was like, it's nice to be in Orlando here. It's not as nice as Cancun. But...
And people are just like, well, you did kind of shit and fucking leave your people.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I don't get these people. You know what it is, man? They're just trying to, like, try to be the next nominee, but it's like, nobody likes you, Ted. You're not gonna...
I mean, yeah, the thing about Ted is I think, like, Ted truly wishes that he had... Because if there's one thing Trump did have, it's charisma. And, like... I think Ted wishes that he could have the charisma of Donald Trump just to get a following that would.
What are you, a Trump supporter? Oh my god!
Sorry, no. So people just jump through the ceiling.
Motherfucker!
No, but it's like, no, because that's the reason Trump got supporters. Because he's a fucking entertainer, and Ted Cruz is a boring nerd, less interesting even than Ben Shapiro.
Dude, Ted Cruz is a fucking cunt.
Yeah, he's a fucking loser, and like everybody can see that he's a loser.
He's such a loser. You can like call his wife ugly, and he'll still like bow down and suck.
To be honest, like I need a job. I think I might call Ted Cruz and call his wife a cunt.
Actually, you know what's funny? I found the number of Matt Gaetz. I mean, I didn't find the number. Somebody posted the number of that guy. He's like a congressman from Florida.
Really?
And I think we should prank call him on the podcast.
You have the number?
Yeah.
You want to call him?
My phone is like about to die. We'll do it.
We'll do it another time. Yeah.
Even though we just announced it, so like.
Yeah, right. It's like we announced, like, yo, we can totally prank call Matt Gaetz. Like, oh, we're gonna do it. It's like, well, no, not right now. All right, come on.
All right, let's get his number. Okay.
What's his number? You haven't.
All right. I don't think anybody's working there right now. It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9:10. Yeah. Should we just leave like a message?
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz.
Phone is dead.
Well, I guess we don't have Matt Gaetz.
Well, that bombed.
Well, tune in next week for the prank call of Matt Gaetz.
Jesus.
That was awful.
This is a shit show.
That was the worst thing I've ever done. Honestly, we should end the show forever.
This was a low point for the podcast.
Everybody listening was like, yo, they're going to call him. And it's like, Jack's phone's dead.
These guys suck.
Yeah, right. You guys are horrible.
Well, I'm never listening again. Please still listen.
Interesting thing about
we're
phone
trying.
Numbers, you got like here's the thing. I can't like validate this, but I was at work the other day, and people sent emails to us to print, and like my coworker opened the email, and he was like, yo, look at this, and I was like, what? And it was like a document in someone's email of quote unquote important phone numbers. And the list of names of these phone numbers were Donald J. Trump, Vladimir Putin, and then like Donald Trump Jr. and I think even Senator Sanders was on there.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're code for like who is he calling?
Like these were their numbers supposedly in like a Word document.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either, but I was looking at it, I was like, there's no way that's Vladimir Putin's phone number. Like, if I dialed that number...
Hello, how are you?
Hello, this is Vladimir.
This is Vladimir. Oh, shit, you don't even have, like, a secretary?
Yeah, right, like, I don't even have to pay the country code. He's like, no, this is Vladimir. You called my cell phone. How are you? Well, how's it going, buddy? He's like, pretty good.
I didn't expect to get this far. I don't know.
Me and Oliver Stone smoking weed now.
Like, do you want to hang out?
Yes, come over. I send Jet.
Imagine like he just comes over to fucking.
Yeah, right. He just comes through with blunts, and he's like wearing sunglasses and a
hat.
Yeah,
you know, Vladimir Putin's not a bad guy.
Like, Vladimir Putin is actually the homie. You know, like I'm dapping him
up. We become like shills of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, right. We like post like Instagram stories smoking bombs with him.
That's what will really get canceled because people will be like, oh my god, that'll be like with Legion of Skanks with like Milo, you know.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh my god, they had Vladimir Putin on the show.
They had
meaning they gave him a platform.
It's like, listen, I know he's like a murderer, but he's pretty cool. Like, you know.
Listen, I know
you
that.
Ever hang out with him?
I know that he completely unethically and 100%.
He sends journalists to Siberia and shit. But
I know that he completely unethically runs his country in a nonsensical way, but god damn it, can he roll a blunt?
Yeah, he's. I actually read this article the other day of like this. He really like just sends journalists to Siberia to like these death camps, and it's like this guy got out of it. I'm like, holy shit. And it's weird because you never think of, like, Russia doing that because, to be honest, because they're white. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if Saudi Arabia does that, it's like, it becomes a national story. But, like, Russia does that,
people know about Russia being horrible. That's why, like, the whole Trump-Russia connection was such a big deal. It's not like it's not well known. Everybody's pretty scared of Russia. The difference is, you know, as much as I respect Oliver Stone as a director, like someone like Oliver Stone could go over to Russia and make a YouTube video where he literally pals around with Putin and like hangs out with him and they watch a movie together and it's like, my part of me is like, that's actually kind of funny and interesting, but then part of me is like, yo, like, this dude literally sends people to death camps.
Well, it's like
and you're like hanging out with. It's like
Kim Jong-un and Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing where it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, you know these guys in a different context, and they've never done anything bad to you, and you've had decent conversations, but like, they're literally killing people.
Yeah, they're like gangster. Yeah,
and it's literally like, yeah, it's like you're buddying up with Al Capone, or like you're
not
like,
worse
you're
than
shaking
that.
hands with like Hitler or like Mussolini or like
Fidel Castro
or like Mao Zedong. You're just like saying like, yeah, he's my boy. Like,
you know, they're cool.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. Not gonna lie.
Imagine that would happen today though. Like Hitler would come over and like he'd become pals with some like washed up celebrity.
Yeah, right. It's
just like
Gary Busey starts hanging out with him.
And Hitler would become like friends.
Me and Hitler's not a bad guy. Yeah. It's just like Gary Busey wearing like sunglasses and a crooked smile, and then you just see like Hitler with like gray hair.
And, like it would be I'm telling you, because it's weird how even when you're a dictator, these people have this celebrity obsession that goes on. It seems like it's like even like you could be the most powerful person in the world. But even when you're like a dictator, but even Kim Jong-un's like, oh my god, Dennis Rodman is here.
Yeah, right. He's like, no way! Oh my god! Yo, can you do a dunk for us? He's like, oh man, I got you.
So, celebrity obsession is not good. Anyway, did you watch the Golden Globes last night?
No, I have a life. Yeah, I have a fucking life. I did not watch the Golden Globes.
Ooh, you have a life?
Quite frankly.
What kind of a life do you have?
What
do you... Oh, I went to a mic.
Yeah, exactly. No, last night, what did I do last night? Well, I jerked off, and that's more important than the Golden Globes. But, no, I didn't. I mean...
I don't have a life.
That's you're like, I spent my time arguing alone with the choices of award shows.
Yeah. How could you pick fucking what's it?
It's like, what do you mean best picture for that shit? It's like
okay. Jesus. There was a movie that was nominated called Music, and you have to see the trailer for it, like right now, because I thought it was like a fake movie. I'm not even going to tell you anything about it, but since we've already done this once with this episode, I want you to watch this. And I want.
How long is this trailer?
It's like 2 minutes, a minute and a half.
All right. I mean, we'll pull it up. Let's do it.
It's a real fucking movie, and I thought it was fake.
What's it called?
Music. It's by Sia. You know who Sia is? The pop star, whatever.
Music trailer.
Well, no, wait.
That one?
Oh, wait.
Kate.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, is it the first one? No, yeah, that one.
All right.
That's
not it. That's just a different ad. They did not pay us. I'm not going to allow this ad to have space on my podcast.
Don't go to
I will continue to drown it out.
Don't use USAA.
Do not use USAA. They're not good.
They're bad.
Okay. So this is now the trailer for... What is this movie?
Music.
Okay.
All right, Nelly. My neighbor's passed out on the floor, and I can't feel her pulse.
Does the little girl have any family members we can contact?
Family members.
Well, I got her number last night.
I have to take care of myself.
Come on, this is your responsibility.
Hey, music? I'm your sister.
Wait.
She's got it now.
Wait, her name's Music?
Yeah.
Hi there.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Music. It's your friend Embo.
What is going on?
She says, like...
Is she, like, retarded?
Yeah.
Can we move in?
She can understand everything you are saying to her. And if you
This
are
looks
happy,
horrible.
Yeah.
very funny troublemaker. She sees the world in a completely different way from us.
The director told me to talk like this, but I actually come from Brooklyn.
That's yeah.
Like, it's really him.
Look at this though. They're making like a musical about like autism.
Oh, it's a musical about someone with mental disabilities.
Yeah.
Oh, I was expecting this to seem way more absurd. This just seems like it might be...
Bad.
Yeah, not good.
Shit. That's why it doesn't seem absurd. It just looks like shit.
Help her.
I mean, like, to write songs about, like, going through that. Like, how could you really, like, convey that through a musical where it's like,
Especially where there's bright
like,
lights and shit.
I'm not comfortable taking my retarded sister to the diner because
Well, like-
she yells at the waitstaff. Like, is that the song?
Autistic
Like,
people hate bright lights and big, like, in the
yeah,
whole
right.
thing.
It's like if there's one thing people with mental disabilities hate, it's brightly colored, flashy images that change very fast.
Yeah, so
and
let's
you
put
have
that-
given us a movie with a lot of that. So thank you.
Well, also, it's just the fact that I just thought... you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Tropic Thunder when he does that fake movie where he plays the retarded guy.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Exactly.
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack. See, that's the thing is like...
That reminded me of that.
That's kind of what I hate about Hollywood is they'll try to romanticize, like, the mental illness struggle. And it's not that, like,
you
these...
get somebody who's actually retarded.
Yeah, I know. It's not even
kidding.
just...
Jesus.
It's like fucking get an actual retard. Like, come on. Jesus Christ, you can't find a retard?
They're all
Come
over
on,
the
kid.
place.
Just fucking go out in the street and ask for a hug. You'll find one.
You don't even have to pay them. Just give them a bunch of chocolate.
Okay. It's going to be hard to make this point now that we sound really mean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was mean.
We're sorry. Anyway,
I'm an asshole. Well, we both are.
no, the thing is, like, it's not that mental illness shouldn't be represented in film. It absolutely should, but the fact is, like, to doll it up with this musical and have it, like add this element of fun
Also to
and,
have,
like,
like,
good
a girl-
times to it, it's, like,
She's
weird.
playing like a stereotype. She's not playing
Yeah,
as
it's
a real
like-
person. She's going, "Damn."
Yeah, it's literally like like how much research did you do? You're like, I know how to play a retard, and then it's like, all right, action.
Yeah. Fuck, man. You can't do
That's
that.
literally what she was doing.
I
Like,
know. It's like,
Yeah, like-
what the fuck are you doing?
bro, like,
You can't like.
because here's the thing, you should see this movie.
Well, it's I Am Sam too, right?
Well, yeah,
That was also fucking horrible.
yeah, but I mean, like, Rain Man.
Sean- Rain Man was a good
Rain
movie.
Man is
though.
a decent movie, but even that movie's kind of mean spirited. It's like Tom Cruise is just like he's just like, oh, I have my retarded brother with me. God damn it!
Yeah, but it's
the
like
whole
that's
movie.
realistic though, because it's like he's like the whole thing was like he's kind of like this cynical asshole.
Yeah,
guy.
and then he decides to exploit him.
I mean, they both like get successful off of it too.
Yeah, but still, you know what I mean. But anyway,
Rain Man's a good movie.
you should check out this movie. I told you about it before. Directed by our man Harmony Korine. It's called Julian Donkey Boy, and it's a really dark and super honest depiction of schizophrenia and like just like the struggles of like a family that actually has a member that has to deal with that.
Sounds
and
depressing.
No, it is, but like the thing is, it's way more heartfelt and like tactful
honest.
and honest and true
Yeah.
than a fucking musical. Like,
Well, no, you can't. There have been movies that have been like really great portrayals of mental illness, or like very realistic and very,
and that's the thing is like if you're gonna do it, like if you're gonna tackle subject matter like that, you have to go full balls to the wall dark. Like you can't be like, well, let's doll it up and make it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like this is serious shit, man. Like,
And to quote the great Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, "You never go full retard."
yeah,
You really
you
like
just
that
went
was
full retard.
like she really did like they were like
To
hey,
also quote the great Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, what do you mean, you people?
what do you mean retards?
What do you mean, you people?
What's
Good
it
movie,
called?
good movie.
But yeah, dude, like when I saw that, I was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" And so then I got like a the only reason I heard of that movie is because it got nominated for like best comedy or musical. I was like, "What the fuck?" And it got like 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
9 or 90?
9.
9.
It got
9. Wow. Yo, that's worse than like
That's really bad.
that's worse than like gay N-words from outer space, God. Like that's worse than like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, God.
Dude, 9%.
9% is literally like
Normally, movies that get nominated get really good reviews.
because the thing is like if you see a movie that got like 50% or like 20%, that means most of the critics hated it, but there's one or two who were like, it's like
It's fine.
all right, it's whatever, you can watch it. Yeah. But with that movie, that means like literally every critic went straight to like 0, 10%,
Right.
like 20
Yeah.
at most. Like,
Well, that also means like people not only did not like it, they fucking hated it. Like that means
yeah, like
usually
not only
if you
did
read
it,
the reviews,
not only was it a shitty movie, it left a bad taste.
like like if you read a review of a movie that usually gets below 10% of Rotten Tomatoes, they usually fucking hate it.
I mean, I'll be honest, like, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes that much. I think their standard is kind of annoying. Like, there's
Well, it's not
movies
entirely accurate about how great. I mean,
like, there's movies I consider masterpieces that they give shit ratings. Like, for example, Kids, I consider one of the greatest films ever made, and they give it like a 46%. It's like, fuck you guys. You guys don't know shit about dick. Like,
the thing about it is that just because a movie necessarily gets a 99 doesn't mean like it's an amazing movie. It could mean like every critic thought it was good enough to give a positive review to. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not necessarily that's why I'm saying it's not like indicative of how good a movie is. Because it could be like, a movie could be like controversial to the point where some critics were like, this is a movie is amazing, and then other critics were like, this movie sucks. That's how some of the greatest movies are.
I mean,
they're not going to get like 98. But like a movie that's like that's like not offensive.
But then you have like a website like Letterboxd, where it's like, you go on Letterboxd and you see a movie has like 4.4 out of 5. Like, usually it's actually good. Like, there's some movies where it's like the rating's a little low, but I'm like, that could be a little high. But for the most part, like, that website seems to have it pretty in line.
Yeah, the problem
I just
with
don't
Letterboxd,
understand
though, is
what the elitism comes from.
There's too many woke hipsters on Letterboxd.
That's true. Yeah,
that's
there's
why.
Way too
that's
many
why I don't trust it, because too many of the reviews are all political.
But still, it's a lot of it is like, when I see like a movie that has like a rating, an average rating, it usually reflects if it's actually good. Like, you know, even if it's like really dark and fucked up and weird.
I usually have found that Rotten Tomatoes like has been, for the most part, not saying always, but like for the most part, like movies that I found that get like a 95, I'm usually like, that was a fucking great movie. Like, usually they are. I don't know. I found them to be pretty. You know, I've watched.
It depends though. Like the Avengers, I don't think the Avengers is a 90. I don't think it's a 9 out of 10.
Get a 90?
Yeah, like when
Which
like,
one?
Probably like the latest one. Same with like even Black Panther. Like Black Panther has like a 95%.
Black Panther has a 98.
Yeah, like I watched that movie. I mean, it's good, but like no matter what you say, it's not a fucking 9.8 out of 10.
It'll be like a B.
It literally has like. You realize that means it has to be better than, like, the greatest films ever made. Like, There's just no way. Like, it's a fucking comic book movie, goddammit. Like,
well, people dick rode that for a long time.
I mean, and I get it. Like, it's a whatever. It's a cultural thing. Like, if you take pride in it, whatever. But, like, the fact is, like, in the literal sense of, like, is this, like, truly a 9.8 out of 10? Like, no. It's, like, it's literally a popcorn movie. Like,
when I watched the Black Panther for the first time, it reminded me of The Lion King. I immediately was thinking of The Lion King.
It stars with You're like, wow, we're going.
Like, you remember how his dad? Remember how his dad died in Captain America: Civil War? He got killed by the Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So like in Black Panther, like there's a scene when he's like dreaming or whatever, and he speaks to his dad on a field in like the afterlife. And it just reminded me of the scene in The Lion King when, like, Mufasa comes from the sky, and he's like, what do I do, father?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, even the thing where, like, the villain of the movie was, like, like, the whole plot, like, you know. So, was, like, reminiscent of, like, Scar. And I don't know. The movie just reminded me of The Lion King.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want from me?
I mean, you know what?
Fuck
Who knows? Maybe they took influence.
I think so. I think they probably, like...
Or maybe you're racist. No, I'm kidding. But I'm getting back to what we're...
lions live in Africa, you know? Why can't it be like
Mountain
Little
Lion.
Mermaid?
What about a Mountain Lion, huh?
Why can't it be
the Mountain Lion
Beauty
King,
and
huh?
the Beast?
Upstate New York, Mountain Lion King. It's not Africa.
Mountain Lion King.
But look, what I was more getting at before is just
it's not Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't trust it. But you know what? It's an interesting question. I mean, fuck it, we're chatting. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Why?
Oh, sorry.
Well,
sorry
like, just
about the allergies.
It's all good.
I'm so sorry.
I know it's not. I mean, I know it's not allergies. I know it's really the sniffy sniff. But you can tell yourself whatever you want.
It's a cry for help.
But what's the worst movie you've ever seen? Why? Or even just the worst movie you can think of right now. It doesn't have to be like the worst movie you've ever.
So here's the thing about that, though. When you say worst movie, are you talking?
All right, I'll
technically the worst
movie? I'll do 3 categories.
Or, like, your most hated movie.
I'll do 3 categories. Worst movie, as in, like, the most just ridiculous, made no sense bullshit. Worst movie, as in, like, just least entertaining. And then worst movie, as in, like, yo, fuck this movie. This movie sucks because it's like, not only is it bad, but it pisses me off. Like,
okay. All right. So in terms of like the technical categories, I got my recommendations from redlettermedia.com. Shout out to them on the show Best of the Worst, where they do a show where they talk about like these horrible direct-to-DVD movies. And so I watched this one called Double Down, directed by this guy Neil Breen, who used to be a real estate agent from Las Vegas. And the movie is like a vanity project that makes no sense, where he has like godly powers, but he's also a super secret agent. And it just, honestly, it makes absolutely no sense. We should watch it sometime.
Yeah,
like,
one
get
of these
like
days.
really baked and watch, because it's hilarious.
Honestly, one of these days, and you know, if you watch this show and if you like it, feel free to leave a comment about this. I'd be down to do like a riff track where we just like do an episode where we watch a movie.
Yeah.
And like just shit on it. Like,
yeah, like a really bad
like have it
one.
in the background.
Like a really bad one.
Yeah.
So I would say that, or this other one that they also recommended called Things, which is a Canadian film from 1989. And the best way I can think of to describe it is if the characters from Trailer Park Boys made a movie, like a horror movie. It's insanely bad. And it's just like, because the whole thing is, the plot of the movie is like there's these critters in this guy's house that are like killer, whatever.
Yeah.
Killer critters, but they're like plastic spiders.
What?
And they hit them with like rubber mallets and shit.
It's like whack-a-mole. It's like,
and
squeaky. Ah!
it's fucking horrible. And okay, so then worst movie. What was the second category?
Second category is like just the least entertaining, like a snooze fest. Like, just like, damn, like I can't believe people ever like watch this for fun.
Okay.
You don't have to think of it if you don't have one.
I was thinking more of like a movie that was just so stupid, like the plot of
You
it.
can do that because the last category is a movie that's not only bad but it like pisses you off. So like,
it's not even that it's just like, I saw this movie a few years ago called The Book of Henry, which I recommend to a lot of people if you're looking for like I wouldn't say it's a good bad movie because like it's not even entertaining, but the plot of the movie is just something amazing. Like, I'm gonna have to just explain the plot of the movie.
that's fine. I don't know if it's bad. I don't think we have to worry about spoiling it.
So the plot of the movie is that it's about a boy genius. Okay, it's about a boy genius played by Jaden Martell, who played the kid from It, the one with the stutter, Bill. And so he plays this, and you know how he's like a gifted kid or whatever. And how come in movies, like in certain movies, the gifted kid, he's always like a genius. He's not just like a really smart kid. You know what I mean? If you're like a gifted, you should be, I don't know.
Yeah, you should have some flaws.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're gifted, you should be like terrible with girls.
So he's not only he's like a genius who also does the family's taxes and like does all the fucking bills and shit. Because they don't have a dad, so they just live with their mom, played by Naomi Watts, but she's like a man-child. She just spends all her days like playing Xbox and shit and playing violent video games. And she's like a bad mom.
Damn.
And the plot of the movie, so it's like, okay, you're thinking like, all right, this is gonna be like a fun little, kid's a genius, whatever movie. But then like halfway through the movie, they're like, oh, this kid has brain cancer. And now
oh shit! What?
And then the kid just dies.
Fuck! Jesus Christ!
Like halfway through the movie, you're like,
wow.
Shit! And it's like played as like really fucking, and it's like, fuck. All right. And then what? Oh yeah. By the way, before that happened, there's also this girl who they go to school with, who's like a ballet dancer, and the boy genius suspect that she's being molested by her dad, who's their next door neighbor, and is also like a cop, and so the kid dies, and you're like, fuck, all right,
Jesus Christ.
and like you see the toll it takes on the family, and then they find the main plot of the movie is they find like a book that the boy genius had written. and that's where the Book of Henry comes
It's
in.
just literally like Dexter's Laboratory. They open the book and Dexter's Lab theme starts. Like, I'm Dexter's Laboratory.
I don't even remember the theme of that song.
I remember the ending credits theme. It's like,
it's been so long.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Hold on, so let me finish. So, okay, so they find this book that he wrote, and so the book was basically a how-to manual of a plot of a way to murder their neighbor, the one that's molesting their daughter.
Jesus.
And so the
sounds fire. I don't know why it's so bad to you.
it's like you're watching. It's just so bad. It's stupid, and it's like
all right. I guess it sounds stupid.
And
but...
it could have been good, but the dialogue is shit, and the performances are also.
It sounds because that's the thing is the idea sounds interesting. Like this boy, he like knew that she was like getting molested, and he was like plotting like to kill. Like,
but there's a scene in the movie like the kid's annoyed by. Because the girl's, like, showing signs that she was molested. She's, like, all fucking like that.
He's like, yeah, stay with bitch. No, I'm kidding.
She's like, what's with her?
She was being a little cunt about it. No, I'm kidding.
What's with her? What's up, her twat?
Like, what is this bitch got a stick up her ass? Like,
oh, yeah, and by the way, the dad...
it's like, hey, how about you stop pouting and make me a sandwich over there, sweetie?
The guy who plays the neighbor who molests the daughter is played by Hank from Breaking Bad.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Hank Schrader.
Hank Schrader,
the rapist.
The rapist, the child molester.
Goddamn.
And, but there's a scene when, like, so he sees his classmate, she's, like, all distressed, and he barges into his principal's office, and he's like, God damn it, Janice! And this is like a 10-year-old kid yelling it. So I just cracked up when I heard that.
Yeah,
because hearing a kid yell that, say, God damn it, Janice!
Right.
It's fucking hysterical.
The person was like, yo, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
I wish the principal was like, motherfucker.
I'm guessing the principal was white.
No, that's the thing. It was a black lady.
Really? Yo, because I was thinking, like, if it was a black lady, she's just like, yo, what the fuck you think you're asking? Yo, goddamn it, who, motherfucker? Like,
you better take your cancer genius ass out of
here. Yeah, you better
here.
take your cancer having ass out of my fucking office. Yo,
I'm gonna slap the tumor off you.
Yo, man, this cancer having bullshit little white boy thing. You can step to my shit. Yo, I'm gonna fuck you up, boy.
The principal's like, I'm gonna slap the tumor out your brain.
And then the vice principal's like, listen, he's just a kid. Can you just like...
What if
I don't fuck with that.
The principal's like, I'm gonna slap the tumor off your brain. He's
yeah.
Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, fuck.
Like, actually, that would be great for me. Thank you.
Because I'm not gonna die. That's awesome. Oh, Sarah Silverman is in it. But what's great about it is like the boy genius and her. Sarah Silverman plays like the mom's best friend, and so like she'll come over and they're just like getting wasted, drinking wine, and the son comes home, and he's like a 10-year-old kid. But, like, they start talking shit with Sarah Silverman, like, he's like, you're drinking again? And they're like, wow, aren't you in a good mood, you fucking little twat? You know?
Yeah, it's like, Jesus, little shit, you got a mouth on you. How about
and they just have, like, this argument, and then, like, there's this weird thing, though, when the kid's, like, dying in the hospital, Sarah Silverman comes in to visit him, and I swear to God, there's almost, like, a weird... like sexual tension between the two.
Jesus Christ.
It's the worst thing ever.
She's just like, it's always kind of been hard to me how smart you are.
Well, I wanted to see
and the director's like, Sarah, what are you doing? I didn't write this.
Sarah, do you need to talk about something?
Sarah, is her mic on? Sarah.
But like, I wanted to see it because the kid from Room was in it. And I was like, alright, fuck it.
I mean, I'd like to be, if nothing else, it sounds interesting. Like, it sounds like it's
That's true. Boring. It's not as bad as, like, something like, Hannibal.
Well, yeah. Like, Hannibal is just ridiculous.
Hannibal is one of the
Hannibal's
worst
a slasher
ever.
movie. Yeah, I'll tell you the worst movies I've ever seen.
Wait, but hold on. There's one more movie, though.
Oh, you have one more? Okay.
Actually, I'll think about it.
All right, fine. So, as far as like movies that are just like bad in a technical sense, like just like really like just shitty with like acting and like directing and stuff. Honestly, like I actually did watch like the first Twilight movie just because I wanted to see. I'm like, is it really that bad? Like,
I don't think it's that bad.
No, I think it's pretty bad. I think like everything about it is
Yeah,
pretty
but-
much ass.
Okay,
Like,
even if it's bad, worst movies ever.
no, I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. For the main reason, also just because of how popular it became, and like it just kind of to me lowered the standard for like young people's entertainment for a while. And like now, like there was no need to really make anything that, you know, conceptual. All you had to do is get like a really cute couple and completely bland storytelling, completely bland writing, and just completely
Vampires
overall
and
boring.
werewolves.
Yeah, right. It's like, ooh, sexy vampires that sparkle. Like, and also it's just like so lame. Like vampires don't fucking sparkle.
You know who
okay,
else hated
vampires are cool. God damn it! Like,
You know who else hated that movie was Robert Pattinson.
yeah, no, that's the thing, and he's been trying to literally, like, it's literally like it, like
Same with Kristen Stewart.
It's like he was. It's like that movie is like the sticky wall from Aliens, and he's like been stuck to it for years, and he's trying to peel.
Even though
off.
he has like had great roles.
Oh
He's,
no,
like,
I mean The Lighthouse is one of my favorite movies ever.
And he was good. I saw that movie Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie. I have no idea what happened in that movie. I have to watch that again.
But yeah, like, I mean, overall, like, the thing with Twilight that bothered me is it's not just that it's bad, because the movie can just be
I
bad.
thought it was directed
and
well.
exist on its own. I disagree. Like, I just think the whole thing was,
I like
like
the
choppy, annoying.
Really,
Like,
I like the aesthetic. It was made by Catherine Hardwicke, who made that movie 13.
I mean, yeah, it's not like the aesthetic was terrible, but, like, you know, not every aspect of the movie has to be terrible for me to think it's really bad. And
so
I
that's
was just
your
like,
least favorite movie of all time?
No, that's just one of them. That's one where I'm like, it just kind of pisses me off because of how much of a hit it was, and how many people will swear by it. Like,
it
where
was a
there
huge
should
hit.
be, if this many people are gonna be this obsessed with a film franchise, it should at least be somewhat good, and
Right.
it's just not good.
Like even the Harry Potter movies, like you don't like them on a personal,
I don't personally like them,
on a
but yeah,
technical level.
they're pretty good.
They're
yeah.
like there's the production quality is
No, they're
amazing,
fine. The
you know.
direction's good. All the actors kill it. I mean, the Harry
Yeah.
Potter stories speak for themselves. Like, but
The special
difference-
effects even like
Yeah.
they're really, you know, they obviously put a lot of effort in.
right? I'm not a
The
fan, but
yeah, the Twilight. Well, I heard this they just get worse and worse and worse.
well, yeah, that's the thing. I did watch one of the later ones where they are werewolves, and I couldn't even like. I got through like 15 minutes, and I was like,
I
no,
heard
I
Michael
can't,
Sheen is hilarious in the movie. And
Michael Sheen,
and he has like a pale face, and he's like really over the top.
But you know, that's the movie that like pisses me. As far as movies that are just bad, because it's like the movie that's like the most ridiculous to me that I've ever seen is the Garbage Pail Kids movie. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of cheating with this one. I only really watched it because the Nostalgia Critic reviewed it, and you know he's notorious
It's
for
not
reviewing
cheating.
bad
I
movies.
mean, I've only
but-
watched those other movies because of Red Letter Media. So,
Right, yeah, but the thing about it is, like, you watch it, and even he said, he was like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I was like, no way. Like, it can't be like, I mean, I'm like, how bad is it? And, like, you watch it, it's like, yeah, man, like, this is what might be the worst film. Like, it's just, it's disgusting to look at. It's not funny. It's not well acted. It's not well written. It's mean.
And it's gross.
It's a
man.
mean-spirited movie with no point.
How does it mean? Like,
Basically, like, the plot of the movie is, like, the Garbage Pail Kids are, like, escapees from a place called the State Home for the Ugly, where they take ugly people who are too ugly for society and, like, hide them away.
it is
And,
mean.
like, it's pretty fucked up and mean.
For like a
And-
kids movie, that's also pretty dark. Like,
Yeah.
you think of like a movie about the garbage kill, you want to make it like light and fun. For,
Yeah, like a
little
movie
kids.
about the Garbage Pail Kids, like, you'd almost want to make it animated.
Well, it's
but,
like it's because like your target audience is little kids.
yeah, your target is, it's not even like kids, like, it's not even really like teenagers. It's like 11-year-olds.
Yeah,
and you're making a movie, like, it could have...
It's like the same people that read Captain Underpants. You know, they like
Yeah.
the gross.
It's like if you made Captain Underpants and, like, there was, like, a weird molestation plot. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, they made this movie, first of all, it should have been a cartoon. Like, whoever said that we should make this live action was stupid. And then, like, to make this weird plot about, like, a weird detaining place for ugly people, and the Garbage Pail Kids are, like, escaping. I mean, it was so weird. And there's more to it. I don't remember it that well, because I watched it once years ago, and then
was
I avoided it like the
1987, I
fucking
think.
plague. But I think there's a plot that I think they're like aliens too or something. It's so weird. It's such a weird, bad movie. Like,
Well, it came
it's
out in
just
1987, I know.
It's just a movie that you watch, and you're like, I can't even like enjoy how bad it is because
it's hard to watch.
you just like your brain starts to say like no, like
Yeah,
it's like you're trying to drink antifreeze, and you're just like yeah, whatever, it's kind of funny, and your brain's like, dude, like stop, like you can't
hurting your brain.
You're actually harming me. Yeah, it was just it's a shit ass movie, and it just sucks on all fronts. Like I can't think of any movie that truly sucks on all fronts more than that.
I just thought of one. It's called Ega. From 1962, starring Richard Kiel, the actor who you probably would know best as the guy who would go to play Jaws in The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker, and also had a role in Happy Gilmore. And the plot of the movie is that these guys go out and find a giant that, like, they live in, like, I don't know, someplace in California, like LA or someplace around there in the desert, and they find this woman was driving around, and she's like, I found a giant! Because this giant comes, and, like, he's like, ooh! And then she's like, you gotta go with me to, like, we gotta find this giant. And they go out, and they find it, and then the girl, like, you know, so the girl gets taken by the giant and gets put in the cave. And then she finds her, her dad originally goes out to find it. And the movie is directed by this guy and stars this guy's son, like, his name is, like, Arch Hall. And I think the movie was, like, a vanity project to, like, promote his son's music career, because it stops every, like, now and again for, like, the son to play a song. And it's the worst music ever. It's like,
oh no!
Because think about like shitty pop from 1962, where it was like clearly based on. He's clearly trying to be like Elvis. Like he had the like all his songs were and so like but like on a technical level. There's sound problems. There's parts where like the dialogue cuts in and out.
Oh
there's
continuity
error. There's like a lot of. It's like a movie to show to like film students of like look at all these errors.
Yeah, it's like this is what not to do.
Yeah,
watch this.
And there's so many parts of it where like it's just so the acting is not only bad. It's like it's so annoying and like
God.
It's really horrible. But like. I'd watch it again totally sometime.
I mean, a movie like that I would watch again, and I just thought of this now. As far as like movies that are bad but fun, like I've watched every single Godzilla movie, as you know, and I love the Godzilla movies. But one that was really bad is called I forgot what it's called. It's like I think it's called Son of Godzilla. It's either Son of Godzilla or another one. But basically, the plot is like. This little kid is like, he like lives in Japan, obviously, and the plot of the movie is like he's being chased around by these gangsters, like these gangsters who are literally like our age, like in their mid-20s, are just like chasing this like 8-year-old kid around, and it's just like, why the fuck are they like trying to attack this kid? And like every now and then in the movie he gets knocked out, and while he gets knocked out, he has dreams that he's on Monster Island. And that, like, he hangs out with Godzilla's son, who's, like, his height. And Godzilla's son just, like, talks to him. And he's like, hey, what up, buddy? How you doing? It's just like,
this
it's
is
like,
my
what
friend
the fuck
Godzilla.
is this? Yeah, like, this is my friend Godzilla's son. And Godzilla's son, like, here's the thing. Even the old movies, like, yes, the old Godzilla looks stupid because the effects are terrible. But they at least tried to make him look, you know, badass.
Right.
But Godzilla's son literally looks like a teddy bear with scaly skin instead of fur.
It was
like,
so obviously just a guy wearing a fucking terrible...
Not even, it looks like a puppet half the time. And it's like, you tried so hard to make this thing look cute and cuddly and like fun for the kids, and it just looks creepy and weird and fake. And like, you're just making this weird plot, and like, this kid's getting chased by gangsters, and like, intercutting with dreams of being on Monster Island. I'm watching, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I watching? Why is this kid being chased? Like, what is happening?
When did it come out?
Oh, I mean, it's a Godzilla movie, man. It came out like the 60s or some shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's old. It's
the
old as
Godzilla
fuck.
movies, they've been making them for like 50.
They've been making it for so long, and this is the thing. This one isn't even one of the first. Like, there was at least 8 movies out by now, and it's like you guys should have had it down by now.
Like just focus on that's the thing about those Godzilla. They've never been able to get like good. I mean, because it doesn't really matter the human characters.
Well, the human characters are always just
they're just secondary. They're just like they just like you need a backdrop because you can't literally have.
I mean, people forget that like the Godzilla movies at the time that they were first coming out, it was like in Japan it was like popcorn movies in America. It's like, oh, you want to watch Godzilla versus whatever? Like, yeah, just a stupid fucking action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go eat some popcorn and watch. Like, you know, they were always just kind of like dumb B movies, but like they just don't age well at all. I mean, as much as I love them and I love them my whole life, I would even watch them.
Well, then they do age well, though.
Well, they age well if you're a fan because I watched them when I was 4. You know what I mean? But like, if I showed you one and I asked you like, or if I even asked you like, hey.
Well, go home and watch. I'm a big film guy, but like a regular...
But like, really, you wouldn't like. You're not much appreciating the aesthetic of film. It's more just like, yo, these rubber suits are so funny. You're like, yo, like these effects are so cheesy.
I like old shit. Like, but even like there's movies that look fake, but they're still like a lot of fun. Like Jason and the Argonauts. I used to watch that.
Well, the thing about Jason and the Argonauts, though, is that those effects, even though they don't look real,
for the time they're amazing.
Ray Harryhausen is probably one of the most influential special effects.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the times it was amazing. I mean, I'm not knocking it.
The thing about the stop motion is cool to me. Like, when it's done well,
like what the Monty Python does stop motion well, too.
Yeah. And the difference is, like, Godzilla's literally just guys in rubber suits.
Yeah.
And, like, they also, contrary to popular belief, they could not see while they were wearing the suits. There were no eye holes. Yeah, so they literally had to fight blindly. Like, imagine, like, just being in an 80-degree hot, like, rubber suit, trying to blindly fight. Like, and it was also, they weren't, like, light. Like, it was like 100 pounds.
Well, I think that's how it was for some of the people wearing the Stormtrooper outfits. Like, there is always that scene where you could see one of the Stormtroopers bunk his head when he's, like, walking. I think it's in, like, the first one when he's walking through, like, his ship, and they just decide to keep it in there because it looks more, realistic.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I actually have you ever seen any of the Friedberg and Seltzer movies? They made Disaster Movie or Epic Movie.
Oh my god.
We're going to talk about bad
movies. I was going to
movies.
mention those movies, but I almost was going to say, like, they're so bad they almost, like, don't count. Like,
they're not even movies.
Yeah, they're literally not movies.
They're not movies. Dude, I saw a Disaster Movie.
Disaster Movie might technically be the worst film I've ever seen.
That's the worst.
But I literally, because it's like, this is the thing about that genre, you're right, like, that genre or that niche that those filmmakers occupied, it's so bad, you almost don't want to count it when you're talking about movies. Like, you're like, oh, what's the worst movie you've ever seen? Someone's like, oh, Meet the Spartans. It's like, come on, bro, I mean, like, a real movie. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like, I think the thing is those guys, they just don't give a shit if they're they're like, let's just, whatever. There's obviously, like, no effort.
Yeah, for what it's worth, they had fun.
Yeah, there's obviously, like, no effort put into it. It was just, like, the thing about that is that you can make, like, a really good spoof movie. There are great ideas there are great satires that spoof films.
Well, I think
but, like, the thing
it has
about
to be clever.
And also, like, the great spoof movies, like, I usually think of, like, the Mel Brooks movies. But, like, even, the first, I haven't seen because all those movies, the reason the Friedberg and Seltzer came out, they were a couple of the writers on the first Scary Movie, and they all came original. That was where it all started, was the Scary Movie.
Well, I mean, Scary Movie just brought back the parody.
Well, Scary Movie was like a pretty funny movie, and then it had a couple of sequels, and then they did well at the box office, and then they're like, shit, let's make, now, what about Date Movie? What about, and what about Epic Movie? What about, and then so it just kind of spiraled out of control. But actually, that only lasted about a few years, because after, those guys, they don't really work anymore. They made that movie Vampires Suck after a Disaster Movie about Twilight.
Oh, yeah, that movie. I didn't even bother with that. I saw that, I was like, that's probably going to be horrible.
Well, then the last one I know that they made was in 2013 called The Starving Games, which is that's really the name of it.
Oh my god, just hearing that.
It's like you already know exactly what it is.
Like the second you hear it's like, yo, I have a 40 start here for a spoof movie. It's like, what is it? Okay, you're going to love it. The Starving Games.
Dude, you know what? I already know what's gonna happen in that movie. You're gonna see like the Jennifer Lawrence character run up a hill. She's about to shoot her bow and arrow, and all of a sudden, oop! I farted.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, and then Spider-Man's just gonna swing in, and Captain.
Yo,
Marvel's,
I'm Spider-Man.
And Captain Marvel's gonna punch somebody and be like, feminism, and then
some fucking fat piece of I don't know why he's fat, but some idiot with a tub of popcorn is gonna be like, remember those movies?
See, that's hilarious. That's the thing. It's like
they have their audience.
What's so shit about those movies is it's not just like the fact that the jokes weren't good. It's like they're just literally like, yeah, let's spoof every single movie. Let's just throw like a piece of every single fucking movie that we could possibly make fun of. And it's literally, yeah, you're not doing anything clever or funny or smart.
Just like, hey, remember Iron Man?
Yeah, right? It's like, hey, did you guys see Pirates of the Caribbean? Did you guys see Chronicles of Narnia?
Did you guys see Wanted? Did you guys see Cloverfield?
Did you guys see Borat? Like, they even had Borat at the end of Epic Movie. It's like, come on.
For no reason, just to say, that's nice, just because some idiot's going to be like, hey, Borat says that, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, because you know there's like those idiots out there that find that shit hilarious, and they probably are watching that, laughing their ass. There's some fucking dumb, like, mouth-breathing, fucking drooling piece of shit who's watching, like, dude, that's funny, because that's like
the guy because Borat's there. It's just so lowbrow, and like the thing that makes a spoof like Airplane great, or a spoof like
Airplane 2,
Airplane 2
is
even like the old Naked Guns, not the later ones, but even the earlier ones. It's just like it wasn't so on the nose. Like there was still a degree of like subtlety. Like one of my favorite spoofs of all time is Shaun of the Dead. And I think what's amazing about that movie is it's like, yes, they are making fun of Dawn of the Dead. We all know this. But they still introduce their own characters and their own situation with their own kind of plan and plot. And like they can make fun of the tropes of this well-known zombie movie while also not just literally ripping it off and making it funny.
But also they can have jokes of their own that have nothing to do with the genre.
And I care about it because it's characters that
you like.
I like and I enjoy and are original.
I actually like Hot Fuzz more than that one. I mean, I like
Hot Fuzz is probably their best movie. What are those guys' names again?
Edgar Wright.
No.
But the guys are Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah, Simon Pegg.
Well, the Frost, the third one was also good, The World's End. But the genre sort of like kind of there hasn't been a spoof movie in a while.
I mean, because the truth is the internet's got that taken care of now.
But the Wayans brothers still do that shit. The Wayans brothers are still like making movies because they made one called 50 Shades of Black 4 years ago.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see that one.
Nobody even heard of that shit.
I mean, it sounds awful. I'm guessing it has like a 20 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like YouTube. Like, not even YouTube. Like, YouTube got that shit covered years ago. Like, even before they died out fully, people were spoofing movies on YouTube left and right in 5-minute videos. Like, you can get a 5-minute video that makes fun of The Dark Knight that's way funnier than anything Hollywood could make. And all of a sudden, YouTube was doing that shit. Then those movies died out. Now YouTube's not even really that much of a thing. And, like, spoofs are really like pretty much boiled down to memes. Like these days, like making fun of a film or a show can only really connect to a meme and how it relates to a different joke. Like it's just sad, but that's just how humor evolves. You know, like as things change, you realize like
gotta change with the times, right,
change with times, bro.
You gotta change the times because you gotta get on the train.
Man, I'm married to the old ways, man. I'm married to the old ways, always.
Dude, if you're not on the train of progress and social justice, you're gonna get left behind.
If you're not in the train, then you probably have to make you'll probably have to make the next train. If you're not on this train, there's another train in like an hour. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's fine. But
there's a cafe down the street.
No, but it's more just like that's just what happens. Like You have a
genres
style of
come and
humor
go.
that gets popular in
Right.
an era like the 80s when, you know, movies were really just like, it was like, fuck it, let's just like have fun and like,
Well,
let's just...
also like in the 80s and really in the 70s, there was like, you know, the Harold Ramis style of comedy came about, and that like changed a lot of things, like the National Lampoon type of like Animal House and Caddyshack and the Blues Brothers, like that really changed comedy in a way, in like a huge way. And then like what's it called? Like the gross out comedies began, but that really began with like Porky's. I mean,
it started a little bit with Animal House. Like, there wasn't too much gross out comedy in that movie, but you see it a little bit. Like, you have the scene where, you know, John Belushi's just eating all the shit food in the cafeteria and, like, shoving it in his mouth, and that's supposed to be funny. And then, like, of course, you have, like, that scene where he's literally just sitting fucked up at the party and he pours a jar of, like, mayonnaise on his chest or some shit. And it's like, I think gross out humor is not bad if you don't overdo it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in the 90s... I mean,
I love gross out here.
In, like, the late 90s to early 2000s, it became a genre.
Well,
where,
that's
like,
the movie that made that genre really popular.
American Pie.
No, I was gonna say There's Something About Mary did that.
Well, true that.
That one really, and then American Pie.
I mean, American Pie just was like,
and that like, but that was like the
grossest
'90s.
shit.
There was like a lot. There was a few '90s like late '90s high school type gross out comedies that you watch that and you get like all this nostalgia. At least I do because I was born in 1993 and whatever.
I mean, the thing is, I used to like the type of people who like those movies. I hated.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch those back then, but I got older.
But like you watch that, it just reminds you of like that time. And it's
like when you were young, and like, I remember when I first watched Semi Pro, and I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, I get what you mean.
I'm not even talking about that. No, I'm talking about like
there was. I mean, it's not like gross out comedy.
Late '90s high school. I'm talking about like She's All That or Can't Hardly Wait or like Drop Dead Gorgeous.
See, I didn't grow up with that. Like, I grew up with like Superbad and like fucking like
that was like high school.
Yeah, like I grew up with like Superbad and like Semi Pro and like
the Seth Rogen, Will Ferrell type
Step Brothers and like not even like it wasn't even like at that point it wasn't even gross out. It was like basically just like sexual. Like it was like like I remember there's a scene in Semi Pro where they're just driving and a girl just gets up in the car next to them and just like shows her tits. Well, and the scene is just literally like look at the chick's tits.
Yeah.
And as like a 12-year-old, we were like, oh my god! Like, dude, me and my friend... I remember when we first watched Semi-Pro on demand. Me and my friends would pause the tit scene, and we would just sit there, like 3 12-year-old boys, just like, oh my god. Look at her tits! Yo, look at those tits! Like what were we fucking doing?
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, it's classic, like, middle school shit.
The sexual humor, I think that genre... really started with Kevin Smith, and he made that like popular with like his movies, and then Judd Apatow came on the scene, and he really kind of like also like kind of changed that in a way when like the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out, and then that whole movie sort of started this other like subgenre where it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, these days, it's just like, these days, I don't even know with comedy. Like, I haven't seen a comedic movie that I've liked for the past 5 years.
Jon Stewart's new movie I thought was very funny. I thought you'd find it funny. It was like a political satire.
I mean...
And it did get good reviews, but I watched it. I was like, this is good. This is like I miss Jon Stewart's type of humor.
I mean, overall, like, I just... personally think that we need to be more strict about our like how we label these shows, which is why I fully agree with labeling the Muppets as offensive and degradatory, disgusting show.
Well, the Muppets is a horrible, horrible, offensive.
Oh no, it's Nazi propaganda. I mean, have you ever watched it?
Yeah, that's why.
See, I just remember when Kermit said, "See Heil Hitler, get the Jews on the train to the camps." Don't you remember that episode?
Yeah, but what I really thought. I thought that was fine. What I really thought was bad was when they misgendered Miss Piggy.
Oh yeah, they
just assumed her.
They're
gender.
like, listen, you fucking fat cunt, you can't be a man unless we say so. I remember that. It was really traumatizing for me as a kid.
Well, that's what I'm glad.
See,
that
Sesame Street was always really like just clean, and then like the Muppets. Oh God, they got dirty.
Well, the thing about it is, I hate having to like think for myself. So what I like is when corporations like Disney and Apple and Amazon can sort of tell me how I should feel about things.
See, the thing is, when I'm watching shows, I need to be told ahead of time if I should be worried that my feeble little brain might not be able to handle it. And I thank my, for lack of a better term, my rulers for handing that down to me.
I mean, like, they gotta warn us, dude. I was watching
How am I supposed to know what my brain can handle? I'm a stupid dummy.
I was watching The Sopranos, right? And can you believe that I was so offended because here it's a show about these New Jersey mobsters and they don't have the same cultural sensibilities as a mid-20s Brooklyn hipster.
Get out of here.
It's ridiculous that they're...
Are you serious?
That these criminal gangsters are not completely woke.
Oh, come on.
I bet they weren't even promoting social justice on their show.
I bet they're misogynistic too.
Yeah.
Oh.
They weren't even...
I knew it.
They weren't promoting social justice or trans rights on their show. It's
and I bet they were all white too, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I need people like, the great people at Amazon to let me know ahead of time what I should be worried about because, quite frankly, I'm a stupid idiot and, I can't think for myself.
And Asian kids, they belong in sweatshops.
Yes, I agree.
They should, what?
See, here's the thing. Like, if I hadn't been warned, I would have watched the Muppets.
Yeah.
And then who knows what I would have done? I might have shot up the school.
I might even like just enjoyed myself and not really cared about anything because I'm a kid and watches the Muppets. Like, like if that had happened, who knows?
Can I ask? Do we know the real reason why? Like, everybody knows that happened, but did anyone read the article that said why?
Yeah. Well, I know why.
Why?
What happened was there's a bunch of suits that work at Disney all got in a boardroom meeting, and they're like, we gotta spice things up. Let's, let's score some...
But is that really, is there something that you could point to in the Muppets that might be seen as a little
the only thing I can think of that this is a real stretch, but the only thing I can think of would be, the Swedish chef. Could be like, Swedish people don't really go around saying horgy borgy schmorgy dorgy.
That might be it.
That's not entirely representative.
Yeah, right.
But
you're culturally appropriating Swedes here.
But how do you know that Swedish people don't go
Hold on, let me
borgy,
see.
schmorgy wargy?
Let me see this. I just want to see why. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I think that's got to be the reason why it's a Swedish chef.
But,
because they say people that, what other cultures are represented there? It's retarded.
I just need to know. Let me, Jamie, can you pull that article up?
Yeah, we need an intern or an employee.
It says the Muppet Show features negative depictions and mistreatment of peoples and cultures. You might be right.
It's got to be the Swedish chef. And it's like, dude, if you're offended by the Swedish chef...
These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong. What?
They're wrong.
Here's one. An episode hosted by Johnny Cash. This is CNN, by the way. An episode hosted by Johnny Cash in which the country star performs in front of the U.S. flag and the Confederate battle flag was among the installments. So apparently there's an episode of The Muppets where Johnny Cash plays music in front of the U.S. flag and the Confederate flag.
Who cares?
Yeah, right? Who gives a fucking shit?
This is what happened when? 1978?
Yeah, right?
Who the fuck cares? What does it have to do with anything?
Quite frankly, Johnny Cash is one of the most, endearing and,
beloved,
socially conscious of the artists that you could have chosen.
It's dude, if you watch it, you're like, oh my god, can you believe that? And you have to, can't your brain process be like, well, I guess, yeah, since it was 40 years ago, longer than that, who really gives
Here's another
shit?
one.
Or does it matter?
Another episode features folk star Joan Baez doing an Indian accent, and who doesn't enjoy a good Indian accent every now and again? Hey, buddy. How you doing, Big Boss?
That's not very nice of you to do an Indian accent.
Hey, welcome back to a podcast, Orange.
My name is Dunker
What would you like to buy?
Do a good or wait, was it an Indian accent or like a Native American?
Indian.
Okay.
And then the opening to an episode with Kenny Rogers shows the Muppets dressed in Arab garb drilling for oil. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Come on. That's the funniest shit.
Wait, Kenny Rogers was dressed like that?
No, the Muppets were.
That's fucking great.
That's the funniest shit of all time. Kermit dressed in as an Arab drilling for oil? Come on.
That's great.
You have to be dead if you don't think that's funny.
Can you imagine like terrorist Kermit?
That's funny.
Death to America!
That's funny shit.
Hello, this is me, Kermit the Frog.
Maybe
and I'm here to spread the word of Muhammad.
I can't do Kermit. This one.
You see, Kermit the Frog, it just sort of talks like this, and I'm joining ISIS right now. I'm going to fight for my prophet Muhammad.
Yo.
My Lord and Savior. I will kill all the infidels and
drilling for oil. Like we are drilling for oil.
all the Jews I will get out of Israel.
Yo.
Can you imagine? That's fucking... Dude, that's hilarious. I never knew that happened on the Muppets.
I mean, I didn't either, but I mean, who did? Like, this is the thing. Like, who's this well-versed on the Muppets?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, who's going to watch
I mean,
enough
I
of
watched the Muppet Babies because that was on when I was a kid.
But yeah, like, who's going to watch the Muppets enough to even find these?
Yeah.
Do you really think that there's a huge amount of,
people binging the Muppets?
Of, super liberal, potentially triggerable, liberals watching the Muppets on a day-to-day basis? No!
They're binging the Muppets.
Yeah, it's like, just want to make sure that the Muppets is safe for all the trans people who might watch it.
Well, you know, they put the disclaimers in front of Looney Tunes as well.
I mean, Looney Tunes I can understand more because, quite frankly, there are racist Looney Tune characters.
Yeah, but, who gives a shit? Nobody... Dude,
but the fact
Looney
is,
Tunes was made in the 1940s.
But, I mean, I'm just saying I can understand the labeling more. But what
Why?
I'm saying is,
it's stupid. It's pointless. It's saying, hey, by the way, this was racist. It's like, yeah, no shit.
No, I'm not
I'm
not saying I agree with it. I'm saying I understand the impulse more. Because,
okay.
It's different. The Looney Tunes have literally drawn,
they had a Japanese guy
No, they literally had a Pearl Harbor skit where they bombed Japanese people, and the only things that survived were their teeth and their glasses, and their teeth and their glasses are just oh, what happened? Oh, it's pretty bad.
You know what's funny?
I mean, the thing is, I agree with you that it shouldn't be done either way. I'm just if you're going to do a variety show, The Muppets is not the one. No. I mean, holy shit. There's other shows out there you can label.
They're going to do that with Barney next.
Yeah, right, Barney, because he's funny.
Dinosaurs are not actually alive now.
Actually, dinosaurs did not stand upright. It is not an accurate depiction of their people or their culture.
Dinosaurs are not purple and they cannot speak.
They cannot speak.
Well, you know,
First of all, I just think it's disgusting that they had somebody who's not a dinosaur playing a dinosaur. Yeah. I mean, how could you say that you know the dinosaur experience if you've never been a dinosaur? I'm just saying.
How can you be about representation and not have real dinosaurs?
Exactly. How could you even try to capture the essence of what it's like to be a dinosaur when you don't even have a shred of dinosaur DNA?
Do you even have any dinosaur friends?
I bet if I did
have 10.
I bet if I did a DNA test on you, it would show 0% dinosaur DNA. And I bet it would show less dinosaur DNA than fucking Elizabeth Warren has Native American DNA.
I'm actually 1/100th Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I actually go as a Stegosaurus.
Well, it's interesting you mention it. My mother was half Deinonychus.
I identify as a Stegosaurus.
I mean, it's just stupid overall. The fact is, not enough people are watching these shows for you to have to warn us.
Well,
and even if they were, people are fucking we can make our own decisions.
We don't need to be treated like children.
I don't need you to pat me on the head. Yeah.
Dude, they did the same shit with Mad Men. They were now they decided to put a disclaimer in front of it when they play the show saying this features depictions of racism. Racism is bad. Don't be racist.
It's oh, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't
thank
know
you,
that.
Showtime.
dude, it's like, yeah, no shit. It takes place in the 1960s. That's the whole point of the show.
It's like, what am I watching this at school? It's like, can I just watch something? Leave me alone.
I don't want to. It's just like it's so childish. Man.
The worst people though are there's people out there who'll be like, well, actually, I do like to have a little warning before I go into a show. It's like, fucking kill yourself. Like, come on, like it's TV. You can't watch images on like
I think it's a good thing. They should be responsible.
Like the thing is, it's like I get it. Like if you have experiences in your life, seeing something might traumatize you, but like the fact is, it's like it's not up to everybody to warn you. Like if you see a show that's about like if you find a movie that has guns on the poster, and you have like a traumatic experience with guns in your life. Do you really need a disclaimer to tell you not to watch this?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's literally like a dude holding a gun on the poster, and your father shot your mother. Do you really need a warning to tell you not to watch this?
Maybe it would work the other way. Like, what if you were raped, and then you watch a movie, and then a character gets raped, and then you're like, you know what? It's not that bad. And then, like, it cures you.
Yeah, like, what if you watch, like... what if you were...
You're just like, you know what?
What if you were...
It's like one of those, like, it cancels itself out.
It's like you were raped, but then you watch the Pulp Fiction scene with Marcellus Wallace. You're like, you know what? At least I wasn't raped by a cop.
Yeah. The grass is always greener on the other rape.
Maybe this is why they put the warnings. Maybe it's because people like us have too much fun.
Maybe we should have a warning.
Yeah, maybe the podcast art should have a warning.
This podcast should be viewed by no one.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to call it. Right. We're at about an hour 45 now.
This is a good episode.
Yeah, so is there anything I got to
oh, and Kicking It Old School with Jamie Kennedy. That's another hard.
Oh, yeah, you sent that to me.
That's a bad.
Honestly, we might do a movie episode where we like show each other a shitty movie and co-review it.
And then we'll talk about good movies too.
Yeah, one of these days.
My voice cracked a little bit.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we'll talk about good movies. Sorry, guys, Jack's balls were seething for a sec.
I'm going through puberty again.
Yes. And on that note, I also didn't like Parasite that much, I have to say. No, I'm kidding. I don't think it's the worst movie ever, but I didn't like it.
That's kind of racist.
Yeah, it's because they were Asian.
I can't even speak in English. I can't even say what the fuck this